There are many ancient texts that relate a great construction much more colossal than the famous pyramids of Egypt. It is the so-called Great Labyrinth located under the desert sands. In its interior, according to ancient historians, there are palaces, cities, chambers, and corridors, a subway world dating back more than 15,000 years. Egyptologists have tried to locate it, but have not succeeded. The causes of its disappearance are not known, and now no one can find it. It is as if it had been hidden by a great mantle of sand. Many had the opportunity to visit this great labyrinth until the 2nd century AD, when it disappeared in a somewhat mysterious way. But, fortunately, some were able to leave testimony of this colossal work. Among them is the Greek historian Herodotus of Halicarnassus, considered the father of history. He visited Egypt around 450 BC, the time of the first Persian domination after the Scythic period. Of this trip he speaks in Book 2, Euterpe, belonging to his magnum opus, History, where he recounts the wars between Greece and Persia. In the book, he recounts the life and customs of the Egyptian society of his time, everything he had seen personally and what his hosts, the priests of Memphis, had told him. Herodotus, in his book, reports the existence of a fantastic labyrinth in Fayum Oasis, which contained up to 1,500 rooms and subway chambers. In Book 2, he relates the following. They built a labyrinth a little beyond the Lake Maris, situated near the city called the City of the Crocodiles. I saw it, and in truth it is superior even to what they tell of it. If one were to add up the buildings and constructions of the Greeks, one would find them inferior in labor and cost to the said labyrinth. Although the pyramids were undoubtedly superior to all greatness, and each one of them worthy of many of the greatest Greek works, the labyrinth is so grandiose that it alone exceeds the pyramids themselves. It has 12 covered palaces, contiguous to each other and enclosed all by an outer wall, with the gates facing each other. 6 of them face north and 6 face south. The rooms are duplicated, some subway, others raised above them, in number of 3,000, 1,500 of each species. The rooms raised above the ground I have seen and traveled through them myself, and I speak of them after having contemplated them. The subway ones I know by hearsay, because the Egyptians in charge of them in no way wanted to show them to me, saying that the tombs of the 12 kings who built that labyrinth and the tombs of the sacred crocodiles were found down there. What did the subway rooms hide that the priests did not want to show Herodotus? What kind of beings occupied the sepulchres of the sacred crocodiles he mentions? Herodotus continues the story by describing enormous palaces and the existence of a pyramid attached to this great labyrinth. In the upper pieces I admired, astonished and confused, their rooms and exits from one another, and the many turns and detours of those rooms, passing from the halls to the chambers, from these to other galleries, and then to other chambers and halls. The ceiling of these rooms and their walls covered with reliefs and figures are all of marble. Each of the palaces is surrounded by a portico supported by columns of perfectly carved white marble. In one corner of the labyrinth is seen attached a pyramid, to which one goes by a pathway made underground. However, Herodotus was not the only one to mention the Great Labyrinth. The Greek historian, Strabo, in his work Geography, wrote the following. Much of the labyrinth was in total darkness, and it is said that some of the doors, when opened, made an eerie noise. On the other hand, Pliny the Elder describes the subway labyrinth as a dark galleries with stone columns, busts of gods, statues of kings, and all kinds of disgusting effigies. Other historians also mention it, such as Diodorus of Sicily, in his historical library, Pomponius Mela, in his book, Chorographia, or Manetho in History of Egypt. All of them describe its interior with very high ceilings, rooms with incredible porticos and winding staircases of difficult access. They also detail rooms with doors, which could only be opened by initiates thanks to the secret knowledge that had been transmitted to them. In the ancient texts, it is said that many walls could move, and this turned it into a real labyrinth. They speak of people who got lost in the winding interior roads and lost their lives. On the other hand, the inhabitants of those lands were so afraid of that place that they tried not to approach. Fear was the best way to keep the curious away. Nobody knows exactly the use that was given to this great construction. Some historians think that it was only used by the most important people of that time, because the people were forbidden to use it. It is said that it was a sacred center, where only the chosen ones were taught to be initiated in the mysteries of magic and occultism. Most historians agree that the Great Labyrinth had a religious character, and was guarded by priests who did not allow anyone to visit the subway chambers whose contents have been kept in absolute secrecy. It was a place where sacrifices were offered to all the gods of Egypt, and also where the most prominent people of the kingdom met. It seems that its large enclosures guarded documents on the history of Egypt, and the astronomical knowledge of the time could be read in the hieroglyphs. The legends of the time told that in that place was located the Golden Circle, a legendary room referred to in the Book of the Dead, made of granite and covered with gold. But where was the Great Labyrinth located? Herodotus mentions that it was near a lake called Maris and the village Medinet El Fayum, which was then called the City of Crocodiles. The lake called Maris, near which the labyrinth is built, causes still greater admiration. In the center of the lake, two pyramids rise, each of which protrudes 50 fathoms from the water, and under the water they have built another 50 fathoms. The water of the lake has been conducted by a canal from the Nile. Most Egyptologists, such as archaeologist Flinders Petrie, have located the Great Labyrinth in Hawara, a city located 90 kilometers south of Cairo, at the entrance of the oasis of El Fayum. In 2008, the city of Hawara was analyzed with GEO radar, with the intention of finding the Great Construction. Several radar sweeps were made in that area by the Mataha expedition, together with the University of Ghent, Belgium, and other official organizations. The radar showed a large structure that matched the description made by Herodotus and other historians. Several years have passed since then, and still there has been no news about it. Why has there been no further excavation and research on what could have been one of the greatest finds in history? The reason is the same as in other occasions. Zahi Hawass, the then Egyptian Minister of Antiquities, forbade the members of the expedition to publish any data about this find until more information was available. But researchers can't get more information if they don't excavate, and they weren't allowed to. In the past, a canal was built in such a way that the site was divided into two sections. Today, the area is flooded by groundwater, and it is likely that the labyrinth is also flooded. What is hidden beneath the Egyptian desert? And why are there so many obstacles to research? So, the priests hid it from Herodotus and the people, and now it is the Egyptian government which keeps hidden the secrets that have been guarded for so many centuries. Is it possible that the cause are the tombs of the strange beings that were under the Great Labyrinth, and that the priests did not want to show Herodotus? Perhaps this finding would have been the definitive proof that those kings or gods were non-human beings, or possibly the evidence of a lost civilization. Who knows? There is no doubt that this discovery would have changed the history of mankind.